Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to be doing a controversial parenting tag. It's just like they give you topics to discuss and say your opinions on each of these topics. There's 22 topics, but I'm not going to be doing all of them because some of them are a little lame. Okay, so the first topic on the controversial list is breastfeeding versus bottle feeding. So obviously, it's no surprise, or if it is a surprise, but I formula fed both my kids, and you can see where I stand with that. I have no issues with formula feeding. I think that it is obviously breastfeeding is the best thing you can do for your kid. There is no doubt about that. But I just feel like there's so much shame that goes on with if you decide to either not breastfeed intentionally or if you can't breastfeed. I just think there's so much shame that comes with that, and it's just ridiculous to me. It doesn't give them like a third head, people. Like, it's formula. It's what they need at this time if you can't breastfeed. I just think that there's so much shame that comes with breastfeeding, and I just feel like breastfeeding is hyped up to be this beautiful, magical experience, and obviously everyone has to do it, and it's come so seamlessly, and I just think that that's not a reality for most people, and I feel like there was like a perfect post on Instagram that basically, here it is. It said, breast milk is awesome, but there's no substitute for a mom's mental health. And basically, that's how I feel about breastfeeding. That is literally to a T how I feel about breastfeeding. If you can do it, and if you did it, and if you made it a year, 2 years, whatever it is that you choose, that is amazing. But I don't think that anyone should feel any shame or disappointment. I mean, you can feel disappointed, that's fine, but you should not be ashamed of yourself if you choose to or decide to formula feed your child. There's nothing wrong with it. I think if you did it, amazing, and if you don't do it, that's also amazing. Like, I don't tell people what to do. And it's funny because with breastfeeding, I get so many people, they're like, I choose not to breastfeed for personal reasons and health reasons. That's why I choose not to breastfeed. But I just get so much shame, and they're just like, oh, did you breastfeed them? I'm like, no. And they're like, did you even try? And I'm like, no. And they're like, but why? And I'm like, because that's my choice. I chose not to for my own reasons. And yes, breastfeeding is amazing, but just like this says, there's no substitute for a mom's mental health. And I just went on a large tangent on that for no reason. Well, for a reason. So that's how I feel about breastfeeding. Paying children to do chores. How do I feel about this? Okay, so we don't pay Gio to do chores. I don't even think we really have a chores list. Like, he is in charge of keeping his room clean, you know, when it's time, putting his things away properly, putting his clothes away once they're folded. But we don't pay him for that. Now, there are certain occasions where he asks to get paid because he wants money for certain things. And we just find something that he wouldn't normally be responsible for doing, and that we'll pay him for that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Personally, we don't do it. The next topic. Taking a baby to a bar. If it's a sports bar, I mean, like Buffalo Wild Wings, that's technically considered a bar or ale house. I have no issues with that. If it's during the day. I mean, I've even gone at night to like a sports bar where there's food. But like a full bar, like, I don't think that's appropriate. Come on, guys. There's no reason a baby has to be at a bar. Playing with toy guns. We do not play with guns in our house. He has toy guns at his dad's house, and he plays with them. There's nothing I can do about that. But us personally, we don't find that guns are toys, so we don't purchase guns for toys, and we ask that people don't purchase them for him. So that's how I feel. Remember, this is all my personal thoughts about it. Doesn't mean that I don't respect anyone's way or being of parenting. It's just what my opinions are and my views. And I would have loved to have Anthony here for this video, but I need a video, and the timing just didn't go. Piercing a baby's ears. Oh my god, this is hard because honestly, I have boys, and I don't have to deal with the idea of them going to pierce their ears. So obviously, I would never go pierce their ears, as a baby. If they ask me that, if like Gio asked me that he wanted his ears pierced, if Gio asked me to have his ears pierced, I would probably just wait until he's 16 or higher. I don't know, because then that's weird. Because then it's like, okay, well, if you had a girl who your daughter wanted to come pierce her ears at 4 or 5 years old, and she said she wanted earrings, would you go take her? Yes. Would I pierce her ears? Probably not. I can do without it, guys. I don't find it mandatory to pierce my baby girl's ears. So when it comes to piercing ears, if I had a daughter, I probably wouldn't pierce her ears. If she asked me to have her ears pierced or she wants earrings, I would then go take her. But I haven't dealt with that yet, so as of right now, if I had a daughter, a baby girl, I wouldn't go pierce her ears. I don't think it's a need. But if she asked me, I would take her. Co-sleeping. So with co-sleeping, I'm for it, I guess. We didn't really co-sleep with Lennox because we have a king size bed, but like it's not enough space. With Gio, when I was with his father and Gio was a baby, his father worked overnight a lot. So Gio co-slept with me. It was just me and him in the bed. We would co-sleep. But like life's different now, and with Anthony being having like a morning job, just having us both in the bed, we didn't co-sleep with Lennox in our bed. We had him on the side of our bed, for the first couple months, but never really in our bed. Unless it was just me and him, we would take naps. So I'm for co-sleeping. So the next one is letting older kids ride in strollers. No, I did not let that. Not as soon as Gio was able to walk, because obviously kids get tired. They're still little. But I want to say by 2 years old, 2.5, we were done with strollers for Gio. And those umbrella strollers, no, I hate those umbrella strollers. If you know what an umbrella stroller is, I literally despise umbrella strollers. So I would never carry my baby around in an umbrella stroller. But pretty much by the time Gio was 2.5, we were done with strollers. You needed to walk. Is it 2.5? I can't remember, man. I'm only going based off of certain events. So like me and his father were done by the time he was 2.5. And I want to say that we were also done. That's how I do milestones. Like, okay, we were definitely broken up before his 3rd birthday, and I don't think we were using strollers after that. So that's why I'm saying 2.5. Is that how you guys think of things like that? I do. How to blend families. I don't think I have an opinion. I don't know how to. That's kind of weird one. It says some parents have differing views on how to blend families, what information to give children. Oh, as far as like a blended family, Gio knows very much he's in a blended family. He knows that he has his dad and his mom, and he knows that he has his stepmom and his stepdad. He knows very well that he has his brother and his sister. His dad has a daughter now, and then he also has his stepmom has a son as well, older than him. So he knows he's a smart kid. He knows. So we don't try to hide anything from him. We pretty much are very honest with Giovanni majority of the time. Like 99.9% of the time. Dealing with sibling rivalry. We're not there yet. Lennox is still a baby, and I just try to if at first when we brought Lennox home, Gio would be like, why doesn't he have a bedtime? Or when is he going to have a bedtime? And it was just kind of like, I had to explain to him, like, he's a baby. You did this exact same thing. You would stay up, like, you picked and choose your schedule when you're a baby. This is no different for Lennox. And I just try to, like, basically talk to him, like, let him know what's up, I don't baby him. I talk to him, like, not as an adult, but, like, you know what I mean. I don't have, like, childish conversations. I explain it normal. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm saying any sense. But dealing with sibling rivalry, like, Lennox is 7 months and Gio is 6. There's not really any of that. There's things that Gio can do that Lennox can't do. There's things that Lennox can do that Gio can do. It's going to be like that for the majority of their life because they have a pretty wide gap. It's understanding that childs have different personalities. I don't really think that's controversial, but I think it's obvious. Like, for example, Gio, he likes a lot of alone time. He likes a lot of chill time. He likes to be relaxed by himself. He is a chill baby. He was always a chill baby. He can just relax there, play by himself, or be in his room, watching his TV, his tablet, playing toys, whatever it may be, swimming. He can do a lot of things alone, and that's probably because he was an only child for a long time. So, and sometimes he doesn't want to hang out with me. Like, I'll be like, Gio, you want to go to the store with me? Just me and you. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And I have to understand that. Like, that's just when he wants to be alone. And it's kind of like he's a teenager already. And then Lennox thrives off attention. He wants you staring at him at all times. He needs you to play with him at all times. So it's definitely a real thing. Kids need different things from you. I don't see how that's controversial, but I definitely understand that that is a real thing, if that's what they're asking. Involving grandparents. What? I will throw the baby to the grandma any day. Listen, as long as your kids will, first of all, as long as you will have the help, you take the help if you need the help. I had never had an issue with asking for help. Like, if I need help and someone's willing to help me, I'm going to accept the help. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, nobody helps me. Life's so miserable. I do everything by myself. Even though I do play around, like, in the house, I say, nobody helps me clean, which, I mean, I do most of the cleaning. But, you know what I mean? I joke around like, oh, I do all the laundry, which is not really a joke. It's true. But like, getting help with my children and being able to have that time, I have no shame in that. And especially involving grandparents. Like, if they want to take the kid, take the kid. If you want to spend the day with the kid, spend the day with the kid. Like, how long are your kids gonna want to go with grandma and grandpa? Like, there's gonna reach a time that they're not gonna want to hang out with grandma and grandpa, and that's gonna be sad. And they'll do the same thing for you. So I think that if your kid wants to go. There's nothing wrong with it. There are some people who their kid is always with their grandparents. That's never been me. But I can't judge them either. You're like, if it's open to them, I guess they would take it. But like me, with these parents, whenever we ask them if they can stay with Lennox, they're more than happy to. And we don't take advantage though. We just, if like, for example, I think we wanted to do something shortly after a vacation, but I kind of like, I knew that we had just came from a vacation, so I didn't want to like, do too much. So I think that if they're willing to be involved and take your kids and give you some time to yourself or to do something that you need to get accomplished, why not? Just don't take advantage. And plus, that's their grandparents. Like, starting kindergarten late. So, I don't know if this is controversial. What the hell? Redshirting is when parents hold their children back from kindergarten for an extra year. While some parents may have legit reason to do this, others simply think that their children are older and larger, that they will have more success in school. For Gio, he has a late birthday. His birthday's in December, so he kind of already started late, you know what I mean? He didn't get to start with everyone else, so right now, like, he'll be the older kid in class. I wouldn't start my kid late. Why would you hold your kid back? It's never too early to start learning. If you're teaching your kid while they're home with you as well, like, I don't think that, that shouldn't be hard for them, or it would be easier if they're staying home to learn from you versus not. So, starting kindergarten late, I'm not for that. I mean, his birthday does that already. So, for Lennox, we'll see. I don't know. I guess Lennox will be late too because his birthday's in January. That always confuses those little birthday things and like what year they can start. It confuses to me. I know Gio had his December birthday, so he was never old enough in time for school starting, which is in August. I hope I'm making sense. To vaccinate or not vaccinate. I am 100% a vaccinator. Vaccinator. I vaccinate my children. I've always vaccinated my children. This wasn't even like a thought in my head when I had Gio, like, oh, should we not? I mean, obviously I ask all the questions, but when it comes to parenting and most things in life, how do I describe this? There are good and bad of each. You have to weigh those options. You have to weigh, does this do more good or bad? That's what parenting is literally all about. There's not like one perfect ideal solution for everything in parenting. You just literally have to weigh. You have to weigh the pros and cons. Does it have more pros than cons? If there's more cons than pros, then you're probably not. You probably shouldn't do it. If there's more pros than cons, then it's probably the most ideal answer. You know what I mean? So yeah, there are obviously scenarios that can happen or have happened, but look at the bigger picture, people. Look at the bigger picture. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. And we do vaccinate. Choosing healthy foods. There's a lot of news recently about what is really hiding in food and whether or not certain things are okay for children to eat. This can make it really confusing for some people who are trying their best to feed their children, but who may have limited access to fresh foods or on tighter budget. I try to feed my kids the best that I can. Like, I don't stress myself out about that. Like, I serve a protein, I serve a vegetable, I serve fruit, and I serve a starch. Like, it's not rocket science. I try not to get a lot of fast food for him, but there are occasions where we eat McDonald's. Like, I am not one of those. I've never been, and I have not, and I don't think I will be one of those moms that are like stress themselves to the core about every single thing involved in motherhood. Like, I've just been like chill, you know. Like, I make the best decision possible for my child, and thankfully for that reason, when it comes to food, Gio's not a picky eater. Gio will eat more vegetables than any other kid I know. Literally, not even being dramatic. He asks for cucumber versus chips. You know, like he asks. He doesn't like sweets like that at all. Like, I don't know. I've done something right. I don't know. He eats very well, and I think Lennox is headed in the same direction, as you can tell my little chunky butt. But I try to feed them the best I can. Like, I don't give them shit all the time, but they do eat shit sometimes. Like, they do eat McDonald's sometimes, you know. Like, but for the most part, I try to balance it out. It's not that hard, guys. He's in school during the day. He eats lunch at school. They have to have balanced meals there. I give him a decent breakfast. Sometimes it's cereal. Sometimes it's a banana and yogurt. Like, I don't stress myself about that. I work with what I have, and I obviously try to do the best I can, but I don't kill myself over these things. He's a very healthy child. He is not overweight. He's not underweight. He's ideal. Crying it out. I don't think I've ever done cry it out. Like, for Gio, he never really was a crier. Now Lennox, he's a lot more of a handful. But there are times where I do controlled cry it out, which I'll let him cry for a few moments, go in there, coddle him, or calm him down, and then leave again. And he has to figure it out, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But I don't let him go, oh, you're just gonna figure it out all night until you fall asleep. I've never done that, and I don't think I'll ever do that. Like, I won't allow it. So I do controlled cry it out sometimes. I think they mean home birth versus water birth, because I'm reading it. It says, in recent years, moms are looking for more natural ways to birth and heading to birthing centers. So, natural births. I'm gonna have my child in a hospital every time. I want to make sure that people are there to help me. The more, the merrier. Obviously, things happen, and some people don't have your best interests at heart. But I'm not one of those person that looks at the whole world's against me and looking out to get me. And I've never considered a home birth. I've considered a water birth at the hospital, which you can do, but I've never considered a at-home birth or a water birth at home. No, like, I'm not that great. I'm just an okay mom when it comes to that. I need my epidural. I don't want to feel pain. I gave birth to both my children vaginally, with epidurals. They were both 8 pounds 9 ounces. One was 21 inches long and one is 21.5 inches long. So I had pretty big babies. I couldn't imagine giving birth to them at home without any drugs. No way. My opinion is at the hospital birth every time. Extracurricular activities. Some of these things I'm like, how is that controversial? What's controversial about extracurricular activities? Okay, the next one is that parenting gets easier as the children get older. It's like, no. Parenting doesn't get easier as they get older. Like, some aspects get easier, but like some aspects get harder. So for example, right now it's hard because Lennox needs me every moment, you know? That's what makes it hard. Like, sometimes he just wants to be on me and I need to get things done because one, I have another child, two, I have a household, three, I'm working from home. Like, I have things I need to do. So that's hard. But then Gio, like, for him it's hard more emotionally, you know, because he's figuring out things, or kids are being mean to him, or he's talking back, or he doesn't want to do what I want him to do, and that's where it gets harder, you know. But then it's like, also Gio doesn't have tantrums. Gio's able to do this by himself. He's been able to do that by himself. So it's like give and take. Like, some things get easier, some things get harder. Homeschooling. I would never do it. I think it's awesome if you do it, if you can do it and you handle it. It's funny because I was just watching a video on homeschooling, and this mom was talking about all of the things that she wants to homeschool. Something in her heart wants her to homeschool, but there's also like this huge con list that she has. Like, she would feel like she doesn't have no time to herself. She would feel like she would have some type of hostility towards her husband because he gets to do this by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it would be hard for them to focus because her husband works at home too, so the kids are gonna like play around their daddy, and like she had like basically like this whole list of reasons why she was scared to do it. And I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, I feel like your con list is bigger than your pro list, so that should tell you something. But for me, I don't think I could do it. I struggle with patience, and it's not that I mean to my children, it's just that like I don't have the patience for it. And I also believe that moms should have some time to themselves. And if you're home all day, every day, there's no way that I would have time to myself. And I need to fill my cup. And if that is you going to school for 7 hours and getting an education from someone else, all for it. I think that was it. So that was it, guys. That was the last topic. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave the article below if you want to do this video too. Thank you so much for watching, and please leave some ideas for any videos you want to see from me. I'm like, oh, you know, your creativity bucket is super low. I'm there. So if you have any suggestions on videos you want to see from me, please leave them down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.